Greetings. We continue today on our study of the book of 1 John. This is part 2 on the absence of fear from 1 John 4:18 through 21. We pick up today in verse 19 where it talks about a commitment to fulfill. This is a condition of the third class, which is expressing possibility. We ourselves should be loving. We have been commanded to love God. That's a fact. Jesus gave the answer, which is the most important commandment in the law in Matthew 22:37. Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. John is not disputing the fact that we should love God. Rather, that he is reminding us that it is possible for us to fail to fulfill our loving commitment to God because he himself first loved us. See, John emphasizes the reason why we should be loving God. He himself, first in order, loved us. God does not demand that we initiate the process. God desires that we receive his love and then return the love given to us. We are fulfilling or we are failing to fulfill the commitment moment by moment. Recall Jesus said in John chapter 14, verse 15, if you love me, keep my commandments. We should, but the question is, are we? Then in verse 20, he talks about a charge to exonerate. If anyone should at a point say that I'm loving God and his particular brother he is hating, he is a liar. See, consistency is the issue. What we say must agree with what we do. If a man is saying loving and doing hate, God says he's a liar. Notice how God states that our relationship with our fellow man is indicative of our relationship with him. In the Sermon on the Mount, in chapter 5 of Matthew, verses 23 and 24, we find these words, therefore, if thou bring thy gift to the altar, and there rememberest that thy brother has aught, anything against thee, leave there thy gift before the altar, and go thy way. First be reconciled to thy brother, and then come and offer thy gift. Again, James 3, talking about the tongue in verses 8 through 10, says, but the tongue can no man tame. It is an unruly evil full of deadly poison. Therewith bless we God, even the Father, and therewith curse we men, which are made after the similitude of God. Out of the same mouth proceed blessing and cursing. My brethren, these things ought not so to be. For the one not loving his particular brother whom he has seen, and as a result continues to see, the God whom he has not seen, and as a result continues not to see, he is not having the ability to be loving. Note that God says that such is impossible. If one cannot love the brother, which he can see, then it is impossible for that same man to love the God which he cannot see. Now, I did not say that. God did. Technically, God said he did not have the ability to be loving. This is a sign, a lack of proper fruit, which exonerates the professor of faith. To hate one's brother instead of loving him as God instructs us disproves our profession. The purpose of such inspection is simply not to follow this kind of example, which brings us to verse 21, a command to champion. John understood Jesus' words as recorded in John 14:15. If you love me, keep my commandments. John took hold of those words. He memorized them. He apparently made them his life motto, as we would say today. John made championing this cause the mission of his life. The question is, do you and I understand the connection between the two great commandments? That the one loving God, he should be loving his brother also. Do we understand that we cannot fulfill the one without the other? We do not get to choose one or the other. We must do both in order to have the absence of fear in our life.